Captain Elias Ward lived a quiet life now, far away from Earth, far from war, and even farther from his old memories. He had a small home on the edge of the human colony of Lisa 9, a planet of red deserts and twin suns. He didn't mind the heat. He liked silence. Silence didn't ask questions. Every morning, Elias walked the ridge above the colony. He always looked toward the horizon, though he didn't know why. There was something out there, just out of reach of face, maybe a name, a sound. He didn't remember much from his past, only fragments. He had been a captain in the Earth's Defense Fleet. Then something happened. A mission went wrong. His ship crashed. His memory broke. The doctors called it trauma-induced memory loss. He just called it the hole in his mind. People in the colony respected him. He helped with repairs, defended them from pirates once, but no one really knew who he used to be, not even him. Then everything changed. It started with a signal. Unidentified vessel approaching orbit. The colony I announced. Non-human design. Diplomatic beacon active. Elias stood behind the security officers, arms crossed, watching the hologram of the ship. It was sleek, like a silver wing floating in the black elegant alien. The AI translated the message. Requesting audience. With Elias Ward, made of the Princess Drella of the Yari Imperium. A silence fell over the room. Elias frowned. That's impossible. I don't know any alien princes. But deep inside, something shifted. A word, a voice, a memory, the disabled princess, the ship landed. The docking bay filled with a strange, soft light. The doors opened with a sigh. 4 armored guards stepped out tall and pale, with long flowing hair and skin that shimmered slightly. Between them, in a floating silver chair, was a woman. She was beautiful, but not in a way Elias had seen before. Her skin was deep violet, her eyes bright silver with glowing rings that turned slowly as she looked at him. She wore a robe of fine blue silk, symbols dancing across it in golden thread. Her legs were covered by a soft blanket. Her hands rested firmly on the chair's control pad. She stared at Elias for a long moment. Then she spoke, her voice soft and musical. "Do you remember me?" Elias blinked. "Should I?" She smiled, but there was pain in her eyes. "I am Princess Trella, heir to the Yolari Imperium. You saved my life. You stood beside me when my people turned against me." She paused. "You are my mate." Elias laughed nervously. "Look, lady, I think you've got the wrong guy." She shook her head. "No, it was not a mistake. We shared the ritual of unity. Our bond is recorded in the Hall of Stars. You protected me. You promised peace. Then you vanished." The room was dead. Silent. Even the guards looked unsure. Elias stepped closer. "I don't remember any of this. I was in an accident. Lost most of my memory. I don't remember you. I'm sorry." Trella lowered her gaze. "I feared this. Still, I had to come. Our people are on the edge of war. The bond we shared is the only hope for peace. The others, those who seek power, will destroy everything. You are the only one who can stop them. You must come with me." "Come with you?" "I don't even know who I am." "You are Elias Ward," she said simply. "Champion of the Unity Pact, my chosen mate. And whether you remember or not, your name still holds power among my people." He looked around. Everyone was staring at him. He could feel the weight of their eyes, their confusion, their fear. But more than that, he felt something else, a pull, a thread tugging at his heart, a whisper in the back of his mind. He turned back to her. "Why would I agree to go with you?" Trella's eyes shimmered. "Because deep down you do remember, even if you don't know it yet." A whispering hope that night, Elias sat on his rooftop, watching the stars. Trella's ship hovered quietly over the colony, lights glowing like fireflies. He couldn't sleep. He kept hearing her voice. "Do you remember me?" He had seen many strange things in his life, but her presence stirred something ancient and personal in him. Why did the sound of her name make his chest feel tight? Why did her eyes feel familiar? The colony governor called him the next morning. "She's asking for you again, says it's urgent." So he went. The room inside the alien ship was soft and warm. Everything pulsed with gentle blue light. It smelled like flowers and starlight. Trella was waiting. "I won't force you," she said. "I know this must be strange, but time is running out. My uncle, Admiral Verox, seeks to remove me from the throne. He says I am unfit because I cannot walk, because I believe in peace with humans, because of us. If he succeeds, war will come. Millions will die. I need your help, Elias." Elias rubbed his temples. "And if I say no, then I will face the council alone. They will not listen to a disabled princess without a bonded mate to stand beside her. The Unity Pact is sacred. Only together can we claim its power. And if I come with you, what then? Pretend to be your mate. Fight your wars? You will only have to be yourself." She looked at him, eyes full of hope. "And perhaps you will remember the man I loved." Elias was quiet for a long time. Then he nodded. "Fine, I'll go with you. Not because I remember, but because something tells me I should." Trella smiled, and for a moment she looked like someone he'd always known. As the ship lifted off, Elias stared out the window, watching the colony grow smaller below. Behind him, Trella spoke to her, eye in soft Yari tones. Elias touched his temple. A flash of something, bright lights, her laughter, a promise made under alien stars. He closed his eyes. Maybe the past was still there, waiting. And maybe, just maybe, he was ready to find it. Echoes of the past Elias Ward stood by the window of the alien ship, watching the stars pass. Space looked the same, no matter where you were. But something inside him felt different now. He wasn't just a retired captain anymore. He was part of something bigger, even if he didn't understand it yet. Princess Trella sat across the room, checking her hall tablet. Her silver eyes moved quickly over Yolari texts. She looked calm, but Elias could tell she was worried. "You haven't said much since we left," he said. Trella looked up. "There is much to prepare. My trial begins in 2 days. We must arrive at the capital before then." "Trial?" "Yes," she said, folding her hands. "Admiral Verox has accused me of breaking tradition. He says I forged our unity bond to gain power. He wants to take the throne from me." Elias frowned. "But you're next in line, right?" "I am, but my condition, ... She looked down at her chair. ... Gives him an excuse. Many believe a ruler must be strong in body. I believe strength lies in the mind." Elias nodded slowly. "So where do I fit into all this?" Trella met his gaze. "You stand with me at the council. The bond becomes real again. They cannot deny my right to rule. Without you, they may remove me forever." Elias walked over and sat beside her. I told you I don't remember anything. What if I say something wrong? What if they don't believe me? She touched his hand gently. You don't need to lie, just be there. Your presence is enough. And there's something else. She tapped her tablet. A soft beep. The ship's medical AI appeared in the air, a glowing sphere of light with a kind voice. Captain Ward, Medica said. I am Medica, Health Interface Unit of the Royal Ship. Princess Trella has asked me to assist in recovering your lost memories. Elias sat up straighter. You can do that? There is a process, memory reconstruction therapy. We will use deep neural scans combined with memory triggers from your past. It's not guaranteed, but it may help. Elias looked at Trella. You really want me to remember, don't you? Yes, she said softly. Not just for politics, for us. I miss the man you were. Even if you are different now, I believe he's still inside you. Elias nodded. Let's do it. Memory therapy began that night. Elias sat inside a quiet chamber filled with soft lights. Medica floated nearby, humming gently. Captain Ward, we will begin with visual prompts from your previous mission. You were sent by Earth to the Yalari Imperium 3 years ago. This is the first image. A scene appeared before him, a glowing garden under twin moons, alien trees, tall and silver. In the middle, Trella sitting alone in her chair, watching the stars. The image flickered. Something stirred in his chest. Another image, a battlefield. Smoke and fire. He was running, carrying someone her as she was hurt. Another, a room filled with golden light. Trella smiling, reaching out. Do you feel anything? Medica asked. Elias took a deep breath. It's like I've seen all this before, but it's behind a glass wall. I can't touch it. That is normal. We will continue. Hours passed. By morning, Elias was exhausted, but changed. He looked at Trella differently now, not as a stranger, but as a memory dot. The Hall of Stars, the ship, arrived at Yera Prima, a planet of floating cities and glowing towers. The capital was built on a platform above the clouds, shining like a jewel. As they landed, dozens of guards in gold armor stood waiting. They wore masks shaped like birds and carried long staffs. Between them stood Admiral Virox. He was tall and broad, with sharp blue eyes and white markings on his chin. His robe was blood red, a symbol of his war title. He gave Elias a cold look. So, Virox said, the human returns. How convenient. Trella rolled forward calmly. We come in peace. Uncle. Virox smirked. Peace or lies? He turned to Elias. Tell me, human, do you remember your bond with this so-called princess? Elias stood tall. No, but I came because it feels real, and because I believe her. Virox's eyes narrowed. Belief is not truth. The council will decide. They were taken to the Hall of Stars, a giant chamber with a glass ceiling showing the sky. At its center stood a ring of high seats where Yolari nobles watched from above. Trella wheeled herself to the center. Elias stood beside her. The trial began. Voices echoed from above. Princess Trella, you are charged with forging a unity bond for political gain. Do you deny this? I do, she said clearly. Our bond was real. The human captain stood with me during the Battle of Ailarurus. He performed the sacred ritual in front of witnesses. We pledged peace. A noble scoffed, yet he remembers nothing. Elias stepped forward. I lost my memory in a crash after the mission. But I came here because I believe what she says, and because I feel it in my heart. Laughter from the council. Virox stood. Feeling is not fact. Show us proof. Trella raised her hand. We have proof. Medica, activate memory record. The AI's light appeared in the center, presenting classified memory fragment. Battle of Elururus. A hologram played. Elias in armor, bleeding, carrying Trella to safety. Her chair was broken. He stood before a burning wall, holding a shield. Another clip, the unity ceremony. A circle of stars, Elias and Trella touching palms. Glowing threads of energy weaving between them. The room went silent. One noble stood. This is real. Another whispered, I was there. I remember now. Virox's face darkened. This changes nothing. He is a broken man. His presence is not enough. A council elder stood. It is enough for us. The bond is true. The princess speaks the truth. Trella smiled at Elias. He gave a quiet nod, unsure what he had just helped her win, but feeling proud. Later, in her private chamber, Trella removed her crown and placed it gently on the table. Her hands trembled. You did well today, she said softly. Elias sat beside her. I didn't do anything special. You stood with me, that's everything. He looked at her. Why me? Why did you choose me back then? She looked at him, eyes soft. Because when the world burned, you didn't look at my chair. You looked at me. You saw me as an equal. No one else did. Elias swallowed hard. I wish I remembered. You will, she whispered, bit by bit. Outside the window, the stars of her home world shimmered. And inside Elias, something finally clicked into place. A small, warm feeling. Hope dot the unraveling thread. 2 days had passed since the trial. Princess Trella was officially restored to the royal line. The council had confirmed her unity bond with Elias Ward. The people of the Yari Imperium celebrated across the floating cities with lights, music, and sky dances. But Elias knew something wasn't right. There were too many eyes watching, too. Many guards changing shifts. Admiral Virox, Trella's uncle, had vanished after the council ruling. No one had seen him since Elias stood on the palace balcony that evening, staring out over the clouds. The sunset here looked like flowing rivers of gold and purple beautiful, but uneasy. You don't trust him, do you? Trella said, wheeling her chair next to him. No, Elias said quietly. I've seen men like Virox before. They don't lose quietly, and they don't go quiet without a reason, she nodded. You're right. He's planning something. Elias looked at her. And why isn't anyone stopping him? Trella sighed. Because many in the court still support him. They fear change. They think my body makes me weak. And your presence, though it helped, also makes them nervous. You're still an outsider to them. He turned to her. Then let me prove them wrong. Let me help. You already have. No, I want to do more. Trella looked at him for a long moment. Then follow me. She led him down a private corridor behind the throne room, guarded by 2 silent warriors in black. They entered a quiet chamber, filled with a soft humming. Inside was a large crystal orb floating in the air, glowing with a blue pulse. This is the heart of memory, Trella said. Every royal stores their personal memories inside it. Yours are in here too, fragments from our time together. Maybe even things you still haven't remembered. Elias stepped closer. The crystal glowed brighter. Suddenly flashes in his mind. Her laughter, his hand in hers, running through a golden field. Her lips on his forehead. The moment she fell from her chair, and he caught her. The night they swore to protect each other. The way her eyes looked when she was scared, and how he made her feel safe. He gasped, took a step back. I remember. I remember you, he whispered. Trella blinked, her lips trembling. You do? Not all of it. But it's coming back like a dream turning real. Trella reached out. And this time he didn't hesitate. He held her hand. You told me, Elias said softly, that you felt broken, that no one would ever love someone who couldn't walk. I told you they were wrong. I told you your mind, your heart, they were stronger than anyone else's. Trella's voice shook. And you said you would stand beside me until the stars faded. He nodded. I meant it. The memory thread between them glowed. The crystal pulsed. The bond reconnected. The palace under siege later that night. An alarm rang. Across the palace. Red lights, echoing sirens. Warning! Unauthorized breach in the northern watchtower. Security override. Elias and Trella rushed to the command room. Guards were already there, watching surveillance feeds. Barracks, a guard exclaimed. He has returned with soldiers loyal to him. Weapons facility breached, another shouted. He's stealing a planetary disruptor. That's forbidden tech. No one's allowed to use it within city limits. Trella's face hardened. He means to destroy the palace, force the council to surrender. Elias didn't hesitate. Where is the armory? You can't go alone, Trella said. I'm not, Elias replied, looking at her. I need you to ... They moved fast. Trella contacted her personal guard, a squad called the Star Wardens. Loyal to her, trained in stealth and defense. They reached the northern tower just as Verax's men began loading the disruptor onto a hover platform. Elias ducked behind a wall, scanning the area. 3 guards at the gate, 2 with pulse rifles, 1 operating the controls. Trella nodded. I'll disable the gate lock. You distract them. He gave a small grin, just like old times. She smiled. You remember that too? A little enough. He moved fast, silent, like the soldier he used to be. The first guard didn't see him coming. Elias slammed him into the wall, grabbing the rifle. The second shouted, raised his weapon, but Elias rolled and fired, stunning him. The third tried to run, but Trella had already hacked the floor controls. Metal vines snapped up and trapped the man in place. The Star Warden stormed the platform, but Verax was waiting. He stepped out of the shadows, wearing ancient battle, armor glowing with red symbols. His eyes burned with fury. You should have died in that crash, human. You don't belong here. Elias stepped forward. I belong wherever I choose, and I choose her. Verax laughed. She's a weakling. You could have been anything. Why tie yourself to something broken? Trella rolled forward. Because I am not broken. And neither is he. We are stronger together than you ever were alone. Verax roared and charged. The battle was fast, brutal. Verax swung with brute force, but Elias dodged, struck back with precision. His memory wasn't fully back, but his instincts were. He fought like a warrior born. They clashed in the airlock chamber, sparks flying. At last Elias knocked the weapon from Virox's hand. Trella used her chair's energy pulse to trap him in a glowing shield. Guards arrived. Virox was taken into custody. The war was over. The Unity Pact fulfilled the next morning. People gathered in the sky, circles thousands of Yari, human visitors, and allied races. Lights danced in the air. Music echoed. Trella and Elias stood before the people. She wore her ceremonial robe, blue and gold, her crown shining in the twin suns. Elias stood tall beside her, his earth uniform pressed and polished. "People of Ylara," she said, her voice clear, "the darkness has passed. The bond between our worlds remains strong. We have faced doubt, betrayal, and fear, but we have also remembered who we are." She looked at Elias. "He is not just my mate. He is my equal and my partner, my strength, as I am his. We stand not as ruler and servant, but as one." The crowd cheered. Trella reached out her hand. Elias took it. And in that moment, under the alien sky, with the world watching, he remembered everything. The love, the promises, the hope. And for the first time in a long time, he felt whole again. Shadows beyond the stars, the victory over Admiral Virox had brought peace to the Yari Imperium, at least for a while. Princess Trella and Elias Ward had become symbols of unity, hope, and strength. Together they rebuilt trust among the people, strengthened alliances, and prepared to lead the Empire into a new era. But dark clouds gathered beyond the stars. One evening, as the twin suns set over the floating city of Ylara Prime, Trella and Elias met in the palace's war room. Maps and star charts covered the walls, showing distant galaxies and trade routes. Several advisors stood around the table, their faces tense. A message blinked on the main screen. Commander Vash of the Space Fleet appeared a sharp-eyed woman with a reputation for honesty. "Princess," Vash began, her voice grave, "we have received distress signals from the outer colonies. Standard transmissions have ceased. Our scouts report unusual energy signatures." Elias frowned. "Unusual how, Commander? Too powerful for pirate raids. And they bear a distinct signature, one not seen in centuries, Captain. The Orcsian. They're back." A murmur went through the room. The Orcsian were a long-dormant race, known for their relentless aggression and advanced, destructive technology. Their last appearance had nearly brought the Yari Imperium to its knees, long before Trella's reign. The Orcsian? Trella's silver eyes widened slightly. But they were driven back into the void centuries ago, thought to be extinct. "Clearly not, Princess," Vash said. "Their initial targets are our mining outposts on the fringes. They are stripping planets of resources with alarming speed, and their fleet is growing." Elias felt a chill. This wasn't a family squabble or a political challenge. This was an existential threat. "What's their objective?" "We believe they are preparing for a full-scale invasion," Commander Vash replied, a grim line to her mouth. "They gather resources to fuel their war machines. Our intelligence suggests they target the central systems, including Europrime itself. The weight of the Empire, of millions of lives, settled heavily on Elias's shoulders." He looked at Trella, who met his gaze with a determined glint in her eyes. "This changes things," he said. "Indeed," Trella agreed. "The time for internal disputes is over. Now we face a common enemy, an enemy that does not distinguish between Yari or human, able-bodied, or disabled. They see only conquest. Humanity's edge the next few weeks were a whirlwind of activity. Elias, with his Earth Defense Fleet experience, proved invaluable. He worked tirelessly with Commander Vash and the Yari military strategists, analyzing Croxian tactics from ancient records, even though those records were sparse and terrifying. The Croxian were known for their overwhelming numbers and a psionic attack that could scramble minds. Their ships are biomechanical, Elias explained during one strategy meeting, pointing at a holographic projection of a grotesque Croxian vessel. They adapt quickly. Our traditional energy shields and kinetic weapons might not be enough. But what is enough, Captain? A Yari general asked, his brow furrowed. Their psychic attacks crippled entire fleets in the past. Elias tapped the projection. That's where we differ. Humanity's strength isn't just in our technology, but in our adaptability and, ironically, our lack of innate psionic sensitivity. Our minds, though vulnerable, don't rely on the same energy pathways as many alien races. We might be able to find a counter-frequency, something to disrupt their psychic attacks, or at least lessen their impact. Trella, always present, always listening, leaned forward. And the Yari? Our minds are highly attuned. We are particularly susceptible. Yes, Elias conceded, but your technology is far more advanced in other areas. We combine Earth's defensive protocols with Yari energy. Manipulation. We fortify your ships with a new kind of shield, a resonance dampener that scrambles the Croxian psionic wavelength before it reaches critical mass. It was a long shot, but it was their only shot. Engineering teams from both species worked around the clock, fueled by a shared desperation. Elias spent hours in simulations, pushing Yari pilots to think like humans, to use unconventional maneuvers. He taught them about guerrilla warfare in space, about using smaller, faster ships to harass the Croxian's massive fleet, rather than engaging head-on. He remembered fragments of his own combat experience, flashes of impossible evasions and daring attacks, and he shared them, unaware that these were the very memories he had lost. One evening, Trella found him in the simulation room, sweating and exhausted. "You push yourself too hard," she said softly. He turned, a haunted look in his eyes. "I've seen what war can do, Trella. I won't let it happen to your people, not if I can help it." She wheeled closer. "The Council still has reservations about a human leading our military efforts." "Let them," Elias said, a new resolve in his voice. "When the Croxian come, they won't care about lineage or tradition. They'll care about survival, and I'll make sure we survive." The battle for Yellera Prime the Croxian arrived a week later. Not as a subtle invasion, but as a roaring, terrifying tide. Their ships, organic and jagged, blotted out the twin suns. The sky above Yellera Prime became a canvas of crimson and black. Fleet Commander Vash reports Croxian vanguard breaking through. Outer defenses, an advisor yelled in the war room. Their psychic screeches are overwhelming our comms. Elias stood beside Trella, a comms earpiece in place. "Activate the resonance dampeners, full power. Vash, deploy the fast attack craft. Harass their flanks, don't let them mass their forces." Trella's fingers flew across her control panel, relaying commands to her star wardens who were now integrated into the main fleet. Engage defensive protocols. Protect the civilian transports. Evacuate all non-essential personnel to the lower levels. The battle was brutal. Yari ships, sleek and elegant, clashed with the monstrous Cresian vessels. The resonance dampeners worked to a degree, weakening the psychic assault, but not eliminating it. Yari pilots, trained by Elias, executed daring maneuvers, dodging massive energy blasts and weaving through the chaotic battlefield. Elias watched the holographic map, a grim determination etched on his face. He saw the inevitable. The Cresian main fleet was too large, too powerful. They were pushing towards the central platform of Yellera Prime. "They're targeting the city's power core," he shouted. "If they breach it, the entire platform falls. We have to hold them," Trella declared, her voice firm despite the rising panic in the room. Elias had a dangerous idea, one that had been forming in the back of his mind for days. It was a long shot, a desperate gamble that relied on a strength unique to him, a human. "Trella," he said, turning to her, "I have to go to the front lines. I need to get close to their flagship." "What, are you mad? That's suicide." "No, it's our only chance. The Cresian leadership operates from their main vessel. If I can disrupt their command even for a moment, it could break their attack." Trella hesitated, then a flicker of understanding crossed her face. She remembered how he had fought before, with the ferocity and cunning alien to her people. She also remembered the deeper bond, the way he had faced down Vrox with sheer conviction. "How?" "My memories, the therapy. Medica gave me triggers. The Cresian psychic attacks. They're like extreme versions of those triggers. If I can somehow weaponize my own mind, use the energy of my memories against them, it might create a ripple, a momentary overload in their psionic network." It was a wild theory, something straight out of Earth's old science fiction, but he had a feeling, a deep, unsettling premonition. "You're going to use your recovered memories as a weapon?" she asked, her voice hushed. "It's a long shot," he admitted, "but it's the only way to exploit their vulnerability. Their strength is their greatest weakness." Trella nodded slowly, then turned to Commander Vash. "Commander, prepare a small, fast assault craft for Captain Ward. Equip it with our strongest short-range shields and a direct neural interface." Vash saluted, a flicker of admiration in her eyes. "As you command, Princess." The human's roar. Elias strapped himself into the cockpit of the single-pilot craft. It was sleek, a needle of Yari engineering designed for speed. The neural interface hummed as it connected to his temples. He closed his eyes, focusing on the fragmented memories that had slowly reassembled. The burning battlefield, Trella's terrified face, the desperate fight to protect her. He wasn't just remembering. He was reliving. The emotions, the fear, the determination, they were raw, powerful. "I'm going in," he transmitted. "Be careful, Elias," Trella's voice crackled through the comms. "Come back to me." He nodded, a faint smile on his lips. "Always." He plunged into the chaos of the battle. Cresian fighters swarmed him, but Elias flew with an almost reckless abandon, dodging, weaving, his instincts honed by years of forgotten combat, and now by the raw power of his returning past. He found the Cresian flagship, a massive, pulsating abomination at the heart of their fleet. As he approached, A wave of pure psychic agony slammed into his mind. It was a concentrated attack meant to shatter his will, to make him surrender. But Elias gritted his teeth, refusing to break. He focused on the memory of Trella's trust, her belief in him when he had nothing. He remembered the feeling of her hand in his, the promise to stand beside her until the stars faded. "You want my memories?" he snarled, a primal rage building within him. "Then take them all." He pushed the neural interface to its limit, forcing the raw data of his traumatic past, his love, his forgotten heroism, into the Croxian psionic network. It was like a controlled explosion of pure, unadulterated human experience. The Croxian, used to overwhelming others with their controlled psychic blasts, were suddenly bombarded with chaos. Images of a burning earth, the faces of lost comrades, the joy of first love, the terror of his crash, the quiet dignity of Trella in her chair. All these slammed into their collective consciousness. A high-pitched shriek echoed across the comms, not from Elias, but from the Croxian flagship. The ship convulsed, its organic hull rippling violently. Their psychic attack faltered, then dissolved. Croxian ships across the battlefield stuttered, their coordinated movements breaking down. Their command network is disrupted. "Commander," Vash shouted, incredulous. "They're disoriented. Now is our chance. Full offensive. Push them back." The Yari fleet, suddenly free from the psychic oppression, surged forward with renewed vigor. Fighters blasted through the disoriented Croxian. Lines. Capital ships poured fire into the enemy, exploiting their momentary confusion. Elias, gasping, pulled back from the interface, his head throbbing, but his mind clear. He had done it. He had shown them the true power of a human mind, not just its vulnerability, but its resilience, its capacity for love and fury. Even when broken dot the unbroken future, the battle raged for hours more, but the tide had turned. The Croxian, without their unified psychic command, were no match for the combined Yari and human strategies. They broke, scattering into the void, leaving behind a trail of wreckage and a promise of return. But for now, they were defeated. Back. On Yellora Prime, the celebrations were no longer just for Trella's restoration. They were for survival. Elias was hailed as a hero, not just by the Yari, but by the ambassadors of allied races who had witnessed the impossible. He had done what centuries of Yari might could not. He had cracked the Croxian's greatest weapon, Dot, in the quiet of Trella's private chambers. After the crowds had dispersed, Elias sat beside her. The weight of all his memories had settled, heavy but whole. He remembered every moment now. The first time he saw her, the terror of the battle of Alarurus, the desperate ritual of unity, the quiet promises they made. "You saved us all," Trella whispered, her hand finding his. "You truly are the champion of the Unity Pact." He smiled, a genuine, untroubled smile for the first time in years. "I just remembered what I promised you." "And what was that?" she asked, her silver eyes shimmering with unshed tears. "To stand beside you," he said, squeezing her hand, "until the stars fade. And even then, we'll find a new set of stars." She leaned her head on his shoulder, a profound peace settling over her. "What?" "Now, Elias Ward, champion of the Unity Pact, my chosen mate?" He looked out the window at the stars, now clear and bright above Yellora Prime. "Now," he said, a new purpose igniting in his eyes, we build. We build a future where broken is just a word, and where unity isn't just a pact, but a way of life. And if the Crixian or anyone else ever dares to threaten that they'll learn the full, undeniable power of a human heart and the strength of a love that transcends even memory itself, the Yari Imperium, under the dual leadership of Princess Trella and Captain Elias Ward, truly entered a new era. They didn't just fight a war. They redefined strength, proving that true power lay not in physical perfection or technological might, but in empathy, courage, and the unbreakable bond between two beings, alien or not, who chose to stand as one against the darkness. Elias, the man who had lost himself, had found his past, his purpose, and his future in the heart of a disabled alien princess who never stopped believing in him. And together they would ensure that the whispers of peace would echo louder than any war cry across all the stars yet to be discovered.